Alright, so I already know that some people are going to disagree with me on this. However, if you care about cars, car culture, and what goes on in automotive space, you need to listen to this. Because these car trends, they are not harmless. They are killing the car culture one law at a time. And in this video, we're going to go over certain car trends that has happened over the years that do not need to make a reappearance in 2026. Alright guys, so let's jump into this with our first trend, doorless Mopars. And I'm talking about Chargers, Challengers, 300s, the occasional Trackhawk. I have not seen a Durango yet, but I would not be surprised if that was the case.
Doors off.
Now, before anybody jumps in, I'm not going to be talking about Jeeps because Jeeps came with the ability to take the doors off, so there's no issue there. However, these regular cars like the Challengers and the 300s, there was really no reason for anybody to think that this was a good idea because of the obvious issue, the safety issue. We're talking about side impact protection, gone. Structural safety, gone. See, when it comes to accidents, people, especially beginners, tend to think, I'm a really good driver. I can drive out there and then come back home safe and sound. Most people who drive outside don't think they're going to get into an accident. It just happens. And it could be your fault, but it also could be somebody else's fault. And this is where I couldn't fathom or understand why it was that I started seeing people taking the doors off of their cars and driving on the highway. Leave your doors where they are meant to be, on the car. You do not know whether or not that you taking the doors off your vehicle are going to cause any issues with the airbag system because you are disconnecting electrical wires. See, in the case of an accident, when people leave their houses and get into their car, they're not thinking they're going to get into an accident today. So when you drive out there with no doors and somebody other than you goes ahead and makes a mistake and they total out your car and you have no doors to protect yourself, need I say more? So please, when it comes to driving your vehicles, please leave your doors where they need to be, closed where you are protected and safe, or at least more safe than you would be if you had no doors on your car. But besides the safety portion of it all, let's talk about the potential legal issues that you may find yourself in. Maybe that a cop who sees that down the road and he's having a bad day because he's seeing something that really shouldn't see, he could go ahead and ticket you. He could tell you to get out of the car, probably put you in the back of a squad car. He could take you off to jail. What I believe would happen the most likely is that he sees your car with no doors and he's going to pull you over, put you in the back of the squad car, and then he's going to have your car towed away because that is a safety hazard. That is a violation for whatever highway safety laws that you guys have, because again, it varies from state to state. I know when it comes to state to state, you have to have a mirror or a side view mirror in either one side or both sides. So depending on the state that you live in and whatever laws that govern your roads in that state, please be mindful of those. And I'm saying this for more of the beginners who have just got their license, who really like cars and whatnot. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. If anything, this definitely borders into the realm of reckless driving. So be mindful, and please do not get the idea of seeing this particular trend and think that we can take the doors off of Jeeps and Broncos and vehicles who were designed to take the doors off and think you can apply this to this type of vehicle. No, cars were built differently for different applications. So please keep your doors on. Fake engine noises. Now, this is more on the maker than it is on the user. However, I think it needs to be said that pumping sound through a speaker is making the car out to be something that it's not. If I go out and buy a car, let's just say a GR Corolla or a GR86 or a Civic Type R, I'm getting a sports car. I do not like the fact that there are fake noises being generated and pumped into the cabin of the vehicle, because at that point, I know that that car is quiet. It is quiet as no different than any other commuter car. People also do not like fake engine noises. Like the GR86, people have found a way to disable the fake engine noises on that car. And to be fair with you, I do not blame them. If I got a sports car, I got it because I want to have a car that gives me a good driving experience and I get to hear the noises. I want to feel that rawness that made me a car enthusiast in the first place, or why I fell in love with cars in the first place. When you fell in love with your EGs, your 240s, your Dodge SRT4s, and things of that nature. But, time goes on. These cars are getting more sophisticated, more modern, and they're adding more of these comforts so that more people will get into them. But, for people who are just straight up just car enthusiasts, sometimes these things have to happen. But even though I don't like it, I do understand that in order for people to get into these types of cars or get into sports cars that they are making, they have to go ahead and sacrifice some things to gain some things. And again, this is a maker thing, not a user thing. Because in the end of the day, once you have that car, you can do whatever you want with it. Make it to the way that you like it. And if you don't like it, well, you have options. Subscriptions in cars. Now, this is, again, more of a maker issue than it is a user issue, but I will say I've been hearing a lot about microtransactions in cars, which I find very, very vexing. Being the fact I already paid $40,000 for a car, and you're telling me that I still have to go ahead and subscribe and pay these people more so that I can go ahead and get heated seats, remote start, and basic functionality. I have heard as going as far as putting subscriptions on performance. Imagine you bought a car that's supposed to have a rating of 700 horsepower, and the moment that you decide to go ahead and put your foot on the gas, you find out that, hey, you're only capped out at 300 horsepower and you gotta go ahead and pay $19.99 just to access the rest of it. You bought a specific trim of vehicle and you can't even access all the features that you asked for? You mean I gotta pay $20 just so I can go ahead and warm my cheeks in the winter? That's insane. And this is where ownership slowly becomes permission. So you mean I have to ask for me to use the things that I paid for? Yeah, I don't know about that one, Chief. That one seems to be an issue here. If you think about it, most of the time when you have a subscription, they are hoping that you forget about it. So imagine you only want to use heated seats in the winter. And because you use heated seats in the winter, there's a chance that you might forget that that subscription is running. And so at that time, that thing is still continuously taking money from you, which is insane to think about. So let's look at it. You're paying for the car. And let's just say you're financing the car. You're paying for the monthly payment. On top of that, you have to pay for your insurance. And then after paying for your insurance, you have to pay the subscription for whatever it is. It could be multiple different subscriptions for different features, or it could just be one to use the rest of the features that you have in your car. Guys, like I said, you have options. There are many cars out there that could fit a specific need that you have that you can go out and get and you'll be happy with. It's not always a good thing to go ahead and buy the newest thing. Yeah, it might be nice. It might look good, but in my opinion, drive what you think would be best for you. It could be new, could be used, but I'm not going to be the one to make that decision for you. You got to look within yourself and say, what do I like the most? And then for you guys who are car enthusiasts, I think you understand how I feel as well. All right, guys, excessive weight reduction. If you have no intention of taking your car to a racetrack or a track in general, do not take out all of your interior. There really is no reason for it. If you're just going to take your car to the store, or you're going to go ahead and go to the gas station, or God forbid, you decide to take your car on a 3-hour road trip, why anyone would do that for a car that they're not going to be taking it out on a track? It's a car that you're going to take from point A to point B. Now, if you have two cars and your other car is down and this is the other car that you have to take from point A to point B, okay, that makes sense because you literally have no choice. For your only commuter car, honestly, to me, I would never do that. Because in the end of the day, I've seen in certain situations where people, they have a car like that and then if they get sick of the car because the car is now annoying and it's a pain to drive, too lazy, or they don't want to have to deal with the hassle of putting everything back to the way it was. And more often than not, it probably won't be the same as it was when you first took it off, because now you either lost some bolts, some clips or whatever, and you're just like, you know what, start from scratch and then let somebody take care of that headache. So please, if you have no intention of taking your car to the track and that is your only car, please do not take out everything in that car. You literally have no reason to go ahead and take out everything out of that car. Somebody somewhere is probably going to go ahead and say, oh, I take all the stuff out of my car because it helps save money on gas because it weighs less. Gas saving may or may not be true. However, still, my point stands. How much gas are you really burning? What, you have a Subaru STI or something? That's the only four-banger that I could think that uses gas like a truck. I'm pretty sure I annoyed a few owners with that comment, but I believe that there's also a good portion of them that agree with me that the STI has some very interesting numbers when it comes to gas consumption. Nonetheless, back on topic. Yeah, guys, don't do it. It doesn't make any sense, and you will probably get annoyed with the car, especially if you decided to remove your engine mounts, your stock engine mounts, for solid mounts, because then it's just a disaster. Let's keep our interiors intact. There's literally no reason to go ahead and drive around with no interior in your car for the sake of race car or for the aesthetic when you're not going to be taken to a track. However, if there is a reason as to why you go ahead and drive a car like that with no interior in it, please go ahead, drop a comment down below. I'm always willing to be educated by your experience and to why you do it as a personal choice. But for me, it doesn't make any sense. Squatted trucks. Now, some people, they'll say that, oh, it looks good. Some people say that they don't like it. Now, while I'm always for modify the car how you want, I honestly feel like this was one of the worst things you could do to a truck. It is one of the most ridiculous things I think that you could do to a truck. And apparently the law didn't like the fact that you had a truck that looked like all you could see was the sky. Obvious things as to why they would pass a law against this particular trend. Okay, visibility. I genuinely like to hear from somebody to say, what is their visibility like when your car is pointing upward and not towards the road like how it came from factory? I genuinely like to hear from somebody that drives a squatted truck or somebody who has driven a squatted truck. What is your visibility like? Because to me, it doesn't look like it is anything good. 2, headlights. Who are you trying to signal with them headlights pointing in the sky? The Boeing 747 that's carrying passengers? What are you? I can't wrap my head around this type of trend or this type of modification that you do to your trucks, where your behind is basically dragging on the ground and your front end is basically up into the sky like this. I am lost. It is very lost to me. And plus, your handling. So in the case of the fact that you might need to swerve out of the way of something, that's if you can see it, doesn't that make it a little bit more easier for the car to tip over? Now, the reason why I say that this needs to die out is because why? It just doesn't seem safe. And these are just opinions. These are just straight up opinions that I believe, and I believe other people have the same opinions and questions as to why is this even a thing? A few states that have made it illegal for some of these particular trends or mods to be made to your truck, which is known as the Carolina squat. You have North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia, Arkansas, Mississippi, Tennessee. Yeah, you are not allowed to go ahead and do this type of trend and or mod to your truck. And just so that we're on the same page, I'm going to go ahead and pull up the law from South Carolina. As you can see on the South Carolina Department of Public Safety, the Carolina Squat Law, which came into effect November 12, 2023, on May 10th, 2024, drivers began receiving tickets for violations. The new law outlines the following penalties for violation. First offense is $100. Second offense, $200. Third offense, $300 fine, and a license suspension by the Department of Motor Vehicles for 12 months from date of conviction. So you guys, see, I have no problem if you want to raise your truck or if you want to lower your truck, but your truck looking like this, I can't. That seems just, the logic is lost on me on that one. But obviously, that obviously needs to go. Apparently, these few states have also thought that this would be a good idea to make sure that people were safe on the road, because honestly, I couldn't understand how anybody could see what was going on in front of them when they're all the way up into the sky. Well, sometimes we just will never understand particular trends. But hey, if you have anything to say, or if you want to educate me on about squatted trucks and whether you can see, or if you drive it at night or whatever have it, go ahead, let me know in the comments. All right, because you got me lost on that one. All right, guys, let's talk about cutting up in traffic. I'm pretty sure you've heard about squeeze bends and license, and I'm going to be 100% honest with you. No, there's no way in the world. This even goes back to when I was talking about the first trend about doorless Mopars. Now, imagine you're on the road and there's a bunch of traffic, and then have somebody that just decides that they're going to go ahead and go swerving in and out of traffic. Guys, it really shouldn't need to be said, but please do not go ahead and do this ridiculous trend of just cutting up in and out of traffic, swerving lanes, cutting people off, threading the needle. Yeah, you might get your adrenaline pumping, but let's be honest, the people that are surrounding you when you're doing this have no clue what you're doing. They didn't consent to this, obviously, and you are messing with people's lives with this. But I guess that's not in the thought process when you decide to go ahead and take your car, your nice car, whether you bought it or you built it, you decided to go ahead and take it out there and risk totaling it out because you decided to take a risk, and the person that was on the road with you decided to merge into your lane, destroy your vehicle. And not only destroying your vehicle, destroy their vehicle. You don't know if they got hurt, you got hurt. And then you have to think about the fact that your insurance company is probably going to drop you because you were doing this intentionally. That's if you decide to tell them, or if the police report says anything otherwise, which more than likely it will. And you also have to think about the charges that could be pressed against you, or if you're even going to prison for risking somebody's life for reckless driving. Catch a charge of reckless driving and see what happens. So I would say that it's more better for you to go ahead and drive normally and keep a nice car on the road with everybody else. Of course, some of you guys are going to probably think about talking about swimming and how it's different than doing cutting up. And I'm not going to go ahead and tell you what to do. In the end of the day, your hands are on the 10 and 2, and everything is up to you. So that's all I'm going to say about that, because to be fair with you, it just seems common sense to not risk you and anybody else that's on the road with you, and also not risk your driver's license and your freedom. All right, guys, so we made it to the last one, and I think this goes without saying, and you probably have predicted what the last one was going to be: car takeovers. But I'm not just going to be talking about the types of car takeovers where people just get into an intersection and start doing slideshows in a circle. No, I'm going to be talking about people who are just downright unruly, that just, they say that they're part of the car culture, when in reality, they are not. These are people that are just going out and just looking for chaos. If it's not for the fact that they are disrupting traffic or they are doing things in traffic where they don't need to be, but also that they even damage regular civilian cars. I remember that there was a video of a lady who was trying to get through an intersection, and I do not remember if it was the fact that people were blocking her or whatnot. If I can find the clip, I will play it. or at least play a part of it. But the moment that she got out of the car, which I will say, if you see 50 people in a section and they are crowding around you, getting out of your car is not something that I would say is the best option, being the fact that there's one of you and there's 50 of them. What can you do? But more to the point, once she got out of the car, he began destroying her car. Car enthusiasts like you and me go to a car event that was safe, had security, and everybody is doing their thing, you know, that's fine. But these people just want chaos. They're also getting stolen cars and adding it to the mix. There was even one where a guy had a Jeep and he set it on fire at one of these takeovers. Now, I say this with the utmost concern. Please be careful. You do not want to get yourself caught up into these types of situations, because the problem here is, if you go ahead and you see a takeover starting to take form and you are caught in the vicinity, you may find yourself at the wrong side of the law. Now, me, if I ever go to a car event and I start hearing people, you know, you'll have your revving and maybe a little two-step here, and maybe one person might do a burnout. Even though he shouldn't, he probably will do it. All right, whatever. It's not that big of a deal. That is something that will come with the territory. But you start seeing things like everything that I just talked about, please leave immediately, because there is no reason for you to stay there and get lumped up with the rest of these people. Look at what happened at Gatlinburg last year, that the mayor decided to ban the event from ever returning. There will not be a slam enough Gatlinburg 2026. And the more that this stuff happens, the more they're going to start tightening the screws down on people who just want to enjoy cars and, you know, be around other people that enjoy cars. I really couldn't understand this level of mentality as to why they would decide to, you know, behave the way that they did. I was talking to a friend. They said, oh, you know, school got out and, you know, all these kids, these kind of, you know what, that there might be some truth to that. But in my mind, it is just me. In my mind, it just seems like people just got a little bit too hype and they decided, you know, we could go ahead and, you know, mess it up. Please, people, if you are going to a car event or a car show of some sort, please behave, be respectful, and please just follow the law. You came here for the vibes. You didn't come here to see a whole bunch of people act like they ain't got no sense and to somehow later on get lumped up with the rest of these nincompoops and getting carted off in the back of a Tahoe. That is not what you came here for. You just came here just because there were cars and people were just chilling out. That's all you came here for. So if you see people start acting the fool, exit stage left, leave. Get as far away from that as possible, because you do not want to be lumped up with these troublemakers. And next thing you know, you got a record just because you just happen to be in the vicinity. I care about you guys. I care about you not getting a record for something that you obviously didn't do. You do not want that problems. You do not want these issues. So I hope that I've gone ahead and I've expressed to you the issues with some of these trends that you guys really shouldn't need to be taking a part of. I know I said that some of these were maker issues and some are user issues, but for the user issues, I genuinely feel these are things that you definitely do not need to take a part of. Anyway, guys, thank you guys for watching this video. Also, if you could leave a like on this video, that I really appreciate it. I'll spread my video out to other people. Also, don't forget to subscribe and comment what do you think about these trends. What about these trends do you feel I got wrong? Or if there are more goods than bads, please, let's go ahead and get the conversation started. All right, guys, thank you guys for watching. And remember, build light, build simple, build smart. And I'll catch you guys next time.